Oh, I see. So we're supposed to go probably to Burning Rock, because I can't go this direction. Okay. Well, there we go. But so Bob the Builder becomes a necromancer? Sort of. So there's another spell, I think it's a 5th level spell, called Animate Object. And I've always rather wanted to do a character who has Animate Object more or less, not exactly at will. And so I actually tried to, like, what am I gonna say? I tried to finagle a warlock build for, because, okay, so let's go back. So in 3.5 D&D, there's a class called the Warlock. Warlock is kind of like a weird hybrid spellcaster that can cast most things as many times as they want, but they've got a very limited spell list and some general restrictions on what they can do. And so I always wanted to try and finagle with a DM being able to use Animate Object instead of Animate Dead, because I wanted to be the Tablemancer. Now, obviously, those of you that follow my D&D series, you might actually recognize the Tablemancer as a druid boss that I had my players fight. And so I've actually always wanted to be the guy that could animate a house, animate the chair that the villain is sitting on, animate the villain's freaking, you know, throne, or you know, part of his castle or something like that. Sounds more like a sorcerer, but you could be wrong. I mean, so warlocks just use sorcerer spells or wizard spells. It's not actually like warlocks really get anything necessarily special, with the exception of their Eldritch Blasts, which is just like a high-powered spell that they can just use semi-constantly. Oh shoot, Max died. It looks like it's, we've finally kind of hit our match here. Yeah, animate is closed. I don't think you can actually, animate worn objects, unfortunately. Ow.
Join the Horde. My mana is low. My suffering shall bring victory.
Cripes. Alright, we're just bailing on this. Let's go back to the Crypt of the Necromancer for a bit. Let's see, do we level up? Well, no, but we have enough money that we can upgrade that guy. And looks like we can upgrade them again. I'm just gonna keep doing that. Yeah, I don't think you can animate clothes that somebody is watching, and if you did, you gotta save for it. But I just really like the idea of just being the a necromancer in all but flavor. And effectively, I'm just walking around with, like, a small horde of, you know, wardrobes and bureaus and armoires. As just, like, this stupid, like, kind of alternative build. Let's see. Can we get Grubsnicks? No. Grubsnicks is still kind of tough. If I went Book of the Horde, I could probably go Grubsnicks, but I don't know if I want to do that. So we're just gonna... Let's see. Unsubscribe Unwanted Undead here. Yeah. What we're probably gonna do is grab Giants in a bit once we have enough of those. Do we get Clerics? I'm gonna grab a couple of those. Okay. There we go. We're good. Yeah, doesn't Pathfinder throw out spells for warlocks and instead give them a bunch of at-will supernatural abilities? I believe so. I actually haven't played a whole lot of Pathfinder recently, and I never looked at their warlocks that much. But I heard Pathfinder's actually getting its 2nd edition fairly soon. So I'm kind of really curious about how that's gonna go. I got to mess around with it a little bit.
My mana is low. Rise and obey.
Okay, let's get some more friendos. This is one hell of a horde.
Pain is my strength.
Owie. As a group. But yeah, I'm looking forward to potentially trying second edition Pathfinder and seeing what they've done. Because I remember looking at the Alchemist and thinking a lot of the changes were actually pretty rad looking. And yeah, I have no idea what 5th edition Warlocks even do. I didn't look at them. I mostly played 5th edition by ear. It's a... I don't know. There's too many tabletop games, and they start to kind of blend together in your head if you're not careful. I don't get mana from this. Okay, let's just keep filling this out. Or keep wrecking this. Because we got to take down a little bit, otherwise I'm not going to be able to go any further. Okay. But yeah, I don't know. I think for, at the very least before 2nd edition D&D comes out, I will put together some kind of group. I don't know if it will be with local people or if I'll try and, like, recruit people online again. We'll see how it goes. Let's see, have I ever finished Pathfinder Kingmaker? No, I wanted to. So, long games, anything longer than, like, 10 hours is really hard for me to finish as a YouTuber, because there's just too many games coming out every single day. I potentially am going to be playing, like, 3 different games today, that all came out within the last 24 hours. Let's say, I remember you being frustrated with Kingmaker. It got better. It got considerably better. Like, I was frustrated with it, and then they did a couple of patches and I messed with the difficulty settings, and it was a lot better. I don't know if I'd recommend it. I would say the hierarchy of CRPGs is Divinity Original Sin 2, Pillars of Eternity 2, and then maybe Kingmaker. Maybe. We'll see.
Follow me.
See, I joined your group. I know people always get that, offer that. My problem is I really do need, like, experienced YouTube commentators and stuff. Because if I'm going to record it, it's really tough for me to pull in the... I'm going to say the uninitiated, but it's like... It's hard to perform for hours on end. Especially for, like, D&D and stuff. And I'm going to say there's also kind of, like, this implied social contract. This starts getting a little bit too far down the rabbit hole of, like... YouTuber versus, like, non-YouTuber psychology, but, God damn it, stop shooting me. I just healed, asshole. Like, it's really easy to get a bunch of YouTubers and streamers to kind of stick together on something. It's really difficult, when it's not... Oh god, that's a huge group. We're just gonna go back. I'm just gonna let them fight for a little while. And I'm just gonna go heal, because I am dying. Oh, God. These enemies are tough. Alright, let's see. Do we just... Yeah, we just do more command. At this point, I can't help that much. But... No, it's a lot harder for me to get non-YouTubers to, like... show up consistently and have, like, that level of quality. There's a couple that are okay, but... I've only ever had bad experiences, so at this point I usually just say no. Let's see. Not to mention, like, if you did want to join me, and I'm not saying that that's immediately, like, an available thing, but you'd probably have to shell out a good, like, couple $100 for like, a proper recording setup, and learn, like, a whole bunch of new skills to do it. At which point I'd say, like, you probably should just start from, like, start from scratch and kind of learn it yourself, and then, you know, get your own show on the road, if that makes sense. It's not hard, it's just time-consuming. I can't afford any of these, but we're pretty close to maxing these out, which is good. We're also starting to get the really good ones on the list. Vac and his people. Sheila and Metal Celine in for a game. Yeah, that actually, that's one of the things on the list that I was considering. I gotta talk to a Vac tonight or something. because we were going to do Torchlight 2 together, but also potentially Satisfactory, so I got to figure out what his exact plan and so on and so forth. And that's hard to coordinate, especially because I'm going to be gone for a week. It's going to be rough. I feel like if I was offered some such proposition, I'd likely be concerned with being inadequate or overstepping bounds socially. It's tough. One of the other problems you kind of also have to contend with that I've dealt with, I guess, in the past is there's a feeling of imbalance, I guess I would say. With a lot of these situations where, you know, especially, I've had this happen in the past where, like, I have smaller channels or something like that, included, and they feel like they're lesser people as part of the show. And it never ends well for me. And so, I don't know. Seasoned commentators are easier to work with. Much easier to work with. I've worked with new people in the past. A lot, actually. If you go back and watch a lot of my Prop Hunt series, a solid, like, chunk of the people in those videos are people that had started YouTube within, like, a month of that recording, and probably quit within a month of that recording. And you can definitely tell, like, the baseline quality for some of these folks is, yeah. Shell's also saying it's difficult to play D&D with people that that you even know. Oh yeah. I've got loads of stories about dudes that I played D&D with, a ton, you know, back in high school, and still had problems. Like, you know, people that straight up would, like, just stonewall you if you tried to, like, work together with them, or, like, actively made antagonistic character builds just to screw with everybody else. Like, there's a gamut, and it's hard to play D&D. Once you get a good group, though, and, like, a solid group that doesn't, that all works well together, oh, it's like the smoothest sailing ever. It's beautiful. Unfortunately, being the internet hermit that I am, it's always been a little bit tougher. I try and get price for a campaign. Yeah, my only thing with, like, Stumped, for example, is they already have their own campaign going, and I'm not entirely sure what their scheduling would look like. Not to mention, you know, busy and stuff. I want to find out what people's schedules are. We're doing art tomorrow as a cool thing. I don't know how many of you guys have seen, like, doodle dudes for Game Grumps and stuff. But I think it would be kind of something in that general vein of, like, hey, you know, let's get a bunch of people together and play and do, like, weird drawing prompts for like, you know, an hour or 3 or who knows what. And so, I'm probably going to be focusing on, like, lighter stuff. Just because. See, I know some of those antagonist D&D players. And also, the Pathfinder Game Mastery Guide has a whole chapter on problem players. Really? That's actually really good. I don't know how many of you guys read Reddit too much. Probably an amount, just because that site is addictive. But one of my favorite pages to read, subreddits to read, is RPG horror stories. Stop shooting at me. Just gonna be kind of vaguely mad whenever I get hit. I'm like, I'm trying to raise a dead here. Let's see. But, I love reading RPG horror stories, and just seeing what kind of horrible D&D stuff you can run into. Death. I've occasionally been a somewhat antagonistic person as I like rules and stats and stuff. You were probably a rules lawyer, not an antagonist. So, for those of you that haven't played a whole lot of D&D, an antagonistic player is usually one that refuses to work with the party. or refuses to work with the DM in kind of communal storytelling, because that's what D&D is. Sure, it's got some game mechanics and stuff, but there are very definitive, there are very definitive mechanics to D&D, but ultimately they matter less than the group effort of creating a story together. And so, usually for me, antagonistic players are the ones that don't want to work with the party. I was DMing a campaign for Shell's Friends once, and one of the characters decided she would play a character that avidly hated anyone that used magic. And she had a very, very, liberal definition of magic. And so, Druid, that's magic, no. Cleric, magic, no. Wizard, Sorcerer, obviously magic. The Gunner character, because there was like an actual, like, duelist. Is it a duelist? I don't even remember the exact name of it. Gunslinger, there we go. Gunslingers in Pathfinder, they use guns, but guns are magic, right? Guns are witchcraft. So, yeah, so this character was designed in such a way that they actively would not work with half the party. The only exception being her husband, who was playing some non-magic character that she could work with. Probably a rogue, I don't really remember. And so it's like, did she refuse potions? I don't remember. I think after a certain point, I kind of had like a sit-down moment of like, either you kind of have to like, either roleplay this better, or just make a new character, because baseline, I'm either going to kill your character off, or I'm either going to kill your character off, because effectively what you did was, I had a really boring starting plot hook. Everybody was in an inn, and she's like, I walk out of the inn and leave town, and I'm like, no you don't. Like, that's not how this works. I realize that this is a shitty plot hook, but it's just that. It's just to get the party in one place for a short period of time. And then everybody's supposed to go off to somewhere a little bit more interesting. And, I had to have that kind of thing of, you gotta start, like, being in the same area. And I realized, like, yeah, railroading pretty hard, but I think we had 7 or 8 people in the campaign. There was only so much, like, I could do to give characters individual motivations at the time. Without actually, making it into a serious problem for myself. Let's see, why do you never use your AoE spell? Because it costs, gate is locked. Area under construction, so that game's not even in the game yet. It costs mana, which I use for buffing spells, specifically an armor and vampirism spell. And so usually I just prefer to save it for that instead, because that's way more powerful. Let's see. But yeah, so that was a problem player through and through. She was a nice person, but like, just playing D&D, that's not the kind of person you want in your campaign, because you're not going to get anywhere, with somebody that avidly refuses to work with the team, or even like, you can have a character that's diametrically opposed to something as part of the plot, as long as they're roleplayed well. It's just, there's that qualifier, as long as they're roleplayed well. Let's see, what did I have? I had a character that, I guess I never really got to, I never really got the opportunity to roleplay him as well as I wanted to. But I had a character that was straight up, like, an evil, like, lord out to get power, and he was supposed to be, like, a little bit bloodthirsty, but everybody else in the party was weenies, so he just was the guy that would kill all the enemies, and that, I guess, kind of fulfilled his character role. It didn't help that we're up against, like, liches and stuff, and, like, I could be, like, a backstabbing-ish evil character, without either, like, actively attacking other party members, which, like, no matter what, PvP in D&D is... Wait, really? PvP in D&D is... I'm gonna say, like, if you have players attacking other players, you have to have a damn good reason for it, and if you don't, then it shouldn't be in the game, period. Like, one of the most common stories I ever hear on, like, RPG horror stories is Edgy McEdgerton, the rogue or whatever, decides he's going to start, like, murdering other players or something like that. And either the DM or the other players just kind of go along with it and, you know, obviously ruins the game for everybody else. Let's see if I can get them there. No, they're dumb.
Shall bring victory. Slay the living.
Wow. So I'm gonna have to micromanage that a lot more. Ugh. Well, at least we got a deed to turn in. Do I have another? Probably not. Let's see, unit building damage. Nope. 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 And nope. All bad. All bad. Let's get some giants. They have 20,000 HP. That's a good giant. Oh, let's see. I guess the only other exception is how much HP does the Mega Scorpion have? A little bit less. Command value is 250, 856. Let's double check these. So, I could have 2 Mega Scorpions. Yeah. Let's get 2 Mega Scorpions. The railroading is somewhat necessary at the start of a game, especially if your characters weren't a team before the campaign starts. Yep. Yeah, all D&D campaigns usually start really awkwardly. I can't afford. What? I straight up can't afford that thing. Ah! Wow. Let's see. Can I see my stats? What is my command cap? How do I even check? Is it Q tab? Here we go. 451. I should be able to summon one of those. It says summon costs 10k, but that's... I don't even know what that means. Because there's nothing that says anything about, There's nothing that says anything about actually summon cost in my... like, loadout? Because all I have is command cap, and so summon cost is confusing for me. Unless it costs actual... Oh. Does it cost money? It probably costs cash. That's why I'm poor. That makes a lot more sense. That would also explain why I've just been perpetually poor. Because I keep summoning those chickens. Well, we'll just go giants. The hero characters aren't actually that good. Have you been buying all your units? I was buying the hero chickens for a while because they're obscenely powerful. But at this point, they're not anymore.
Follow me.
Okay. So these giants are big and tough enough that I can keep them...
Gather here.
That the fire's not going to mess them up that much.
Come here. Attack.
Okay. We're good? What do we got over here? Yeah, hero chickens. Wow. Did we get a mojito? We did. The undead require no sustenance to keep unliving. Well, sometimes you crave a cool mojito. I should remember to actually talk to the skeletons for the quests. I almost kind of wish they had the exclamation mark on the map, because I, at this point, just kind of ignore them. Unless I immediately see that they have a reason for me to interact with them. I probably just walked right past that guy, actually. Let's see. Question from a while back. Wonder if you played Path of Exile. I've played it repeatedly. I've never gotten to the end game. I don't even know if I've ever gotten really past Act 1 or 2. I'm gonna try this month with the new league. It's gonna be tough. Find someone who might know how to get past the gate. Oh, of course. I can tell you how to open the gate, but you need to do something for me first. I've been rotting here for centuries and my throat is parched. Fetch me a cool drink from the storeroom and I'll help you. Ah, thank you. Here's a little something for your trouble. The pressure plate combination is 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. I wrote it down for you. Step on the numbered pressure plates. In this order, and the gate should open.
Destroy them.
2, 3, 4. I wonder if you can guesstimate these without doing the quest. Possibly.
Come here. My quest for domination advances.
Hey, at least the EXP rewards have gotten better. It used to be utter garbage.
This land shall soon be mine.
Okay. Oh, can't even talk to that guy.
Charge.
Get them, my giants! So they don't actually do as much damage. The main reason why the giants are good is because they are beef strong as hell. I wonder, will you do the Warcraft 3 remaster when it releases? I don't think I'm going to do the story mode, but I will 100% do some custom maps. If you guys want to do custom maps with me. My problem with the Warcraft story mode is... I've played it before, like, several times. I used to play the Warcraft 3 a lot when I was younger. And so... my personal, like, inspiration to play more of it is kind of low. The custom maps are eternally fun, though, so I'll probably play those. See if we can load up some of the old tower defense games. Cube TD. I miss Cube TD. I'll probably see if I can bug my brother into joining me for that one, because I think that'll be a lot of fun. Okay, now I can probably use my, my AoE a bunch. My other problem with my AoE is it actually doesn't do that much damage. Ow, 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 ow. I haven't built my character for damage at all. I've built him almost entirely for just supporting large hordes of undead to fight for me. Though at this point, I don't know if I need too much. The sound effects for these guys is something special. They're not dying. Well, we could just sit here and farm EXP, potentially eternally. Because the thing is, these guys gotta have an AoE, so they don't actually have much of a chance of getting well, not exactly surrounded. I do need more of them, though. That is the one unfortunate thing. Slow. Well, we got the barbarian statue unlocked, at least. Let's see. So, Wander, what have been some of your campaign plots in the past? I actually don't DM often. So, you guys pretty much have seen my campaign plots. If you're more wondering about, like, plots for campaigns that I've been in, that's a little murkier, just because it's been so long. Did that? Okay, that one did start summoning after all. My brother did most of the DMing, and his plots were, dense. And it was, like, one major campaign. I once played, like, an insane druid who effectively was, like, worshipping some kind of small-time nature deity. And then gets to the end, and apparently the deity was either killed or corrupted. I don't exactly remember what happened. And so effectively he loses his marbles and plays 52 pickup with the deck of many things. With the main antagonist, who was supposed to, you know, was supposed to be one of those where, you know, the character is supposed to care, I guess. You know, because normally when you're playing D&D, your character's not supposed to be, like, suicidal, honestly. They're not supposed to be like, I want to die, And so, so this character more or less gets there and realizes his entire quest was meaningless. That, you know, he's not exactly his reason for living, was false, but, you know, it's kind of like if, oh, what's a good example? I'm trying to think of particularly driven characters off the top of my head, and I'm coming up with pretty heavy blanks right now. But so, you know, he really was there to save this goddess character. And yeah, she was just gone. I guess it would be like if, at the end of Breath of the Wild, you find out that, yeah, Zelda's just straight up dead, and Link's just been yanked around by Ganon the entire time. Like, Link would probably get a little bit, screw loose by the end of it. Especially, you know, now that all of his other, all of his other friends are dead too, and the world kind of sucks. I don't know, that's the closest thing I can immediately think of. He'd probably be fine just because it's a Nintendo game, but you know how it goes. And so, this is very slow, but good EXP farming. Should probably leave. All your friends are dead and your hopes were a lie sort of situation. Yeah, exactly. So effectively, my druid went from being kind of... he was pretty aggressive. He was the, like... He went from kind of being a paladin-style druid to just, like... oh, how would I even describe it? I think I need to read TV tropes again for some of these character motivations, but he went from being, you know, kind of the goody two-shoes to just like a ruthless determinator or something like that was the description. But so we were like locked in. Yeah, he more or less did become a berserker, and I think in the end he actually ended up nosediving into a sphere of annihilation at some point, because it made sense at the time. It didn't. It was a stupid thing to do, but he did it anyway. These guys have a decent chunk of HP. I think I'm gonna stick with the giants though, just because. But yeah, so the entire like plot point was you're supposed to like play very safe with the deck of many things. And for those of you that don't know the deck of many things, it's more or less, is it like 52 cards? It's like a bunch of different tarot cards. No, it's probably 20, 24, 26. But there's a lot of like really good things you can get out of it, and some that straight up just like, yeah, 23 at max, there we go. And some that just straight up delete your character from existence. And my character didn't care, so I was like, alright, what would a character that is like so broken nothing matters to him anymore do if given the deck of many things? You have the option of choosing 1 or 2 cards every turn, quote unquote. And so what I did for this guy was he just drew 2 cards every single time, no matter what. And the villain, you know, thinking himself so clever, had some kind of like prescience so you could like game the system, which doesn't work when your opponent straight up is playing a zero-sum game. And so, you know, I think he was actively cheating and he could kind of predict. And the thing is, since I kept drawing 2 cards, he knew exactly what I was going to do pretty much forever, and counted it out and realized no matter what, he was screwed. And so, effectively just started, like, panicking and trying, like, get out of it. My character is unsympathetic, to say the least. It was fun. I liked it. That character lived for a lot longer than he should have. And all I can say is 3.5 druids are broken garbage. And I probably should never be allowed to play one again. But I don't know. I had fun with it.